Have you been looking to take your magical practice to the next level? Or perhaps you're looking for a sense of belonging, a special social connection, or maybe even personal growth? Well, it sounds like you're looking for community or perhaps even a group to join. Let's talk about that so you can do so safely and effectively. I'm Mavius Lynn. I'm an artist, practicing occultist, YouTuber, content creator, and thelemite. I'm here to talk to you today about something people love to ask me about, which is how to find community or a group. Because I have a lot of experience about that. I've been a practicing occultist for over a decade now, and I've been in and out of a bunch of groups, as well as met a lot of people and made a lot of special connections. Of course, community is a wonderful part of our lives, and why not bring that into our magical life as well? I definitely am a big supporter of that, and if you're looking for that, you came to the right video. So I hope to discuss that with you today. So, not only do I want to provide you with the tools or some ideas to think about when it comes to some direction or clues on your journey of places that would be right for you to look and directions to go in, but once you do find people or you find a group that speaks to you, let's talk about how you vet that group or person. Let's talk about green and red flags, because it's not just about finding as part of it, but it's also about vetting. So you can find not only a great fit for you and a place you love to be, but a place that is happy and healthy and fills your spirit and lifts you up just like you deserve and everyone deserves to find. So where to find other practicing occultists, pagans, witches, the whole gamut of practitioners? Well, the old-fashioned way is, of course, go try to find your local occult bookshop. These bookshops often are central places in our communities where they host events and get-togethers. So a lot of these places you can just simply walk in the door and they have flyers up on the wall or a bulletin board for upcoming events. You can simply sign up for or just show up depending on the type of event. Sometimes they do ask for a donation or maybe a little bit of money, but oftentimes they're free. Other events to look out for in your local community is author signings. So one of your occult book authors, your favorite occult book author, may have a book event coming up, and you can go to little events like that. Also keep your eyes peeled for events like Pagan Pride or other local gatherings of maybe whatever group appeals to you or your path may look like. There's a lot of groups who do public rituals, events. Pagan Pride comes to, off the top of my head. And then once you go to these events and people start to get to know you, maybe you strike up a good conversation, that's where the real magic happens, if you will. We have the traditional means of getting to know people, but oftentimes in the occult community especially, a lot of our events, our organizations, our groups, various people, and things going on are simply invite only. And the way you're going to get invited to these groups or events or rituals is by knowing people and making yourself known and putting yourself out there. It's scary, of course, but remember, if you're in an uncomfortable social situation or somewhere where you don't want to be, leave. Always just leave. That option's always available to you, and it's okay. Your comfort and safety is the most important thing. But I think that's an added, extra feature of looking for an occult community is this sort of mystery around specific groups, and how do I get in touch with certain people? Well, if they're around your local community, you can sort of find them as well as find ways into the groups you maybe want to join or people you want to get to know. So that's always a more traditional option is in-person stuff. But we do live in this day and age with a lot of fun and exciting modern tools. As you're watching YouTube right now, of course, we have other fantastic places to meet people, like meetup.com, even places like Twitter, Instagram. Pay attention to local Facebook groups and events. Those are all valid places to find out about local happenings or virtual events as well. Discord servers are a great way to meet people. We have a lot of options available to us in this modern age to meet people online. And like I said, even with the digital stuff, it's sort of like a snowball effect. Once you meet one person, they may recommend you join like another Discord server, or, oh, I want to introduce you to someone. And it just sort of goes from there. The occult community, of course, being hidden like a lot of everything else. So just keep that in mind. What you may find in a Google search in your local area may not actually be representative of all of the multitude of things actually going on in your area. But the way you find out about them is talking to people, whether it's talking online or in person. Find what suits you the best in your circumstances and give it a go. Who knows? But those are some fun ideas, or just general ideas of the landscape out there and how to connect with people. And of course, always keep in the back of your mind what you want to get out of that interaction, that community, right? So if you are looking for group rituals or more involvement, seek groups out that do that. If you're looking for a study group, those exist too. All of it's valid. It's just really what you want to do. And fortunately, you do have some options out there. So you found a cool group, but is it actually cool? Or are you just trying to convince yourself you like it? That's where important things like your personal boundaries, as well as green and red flags, come into play. You should always have in the back of your mind when joining a group or coming into a community things that are absolute deal breakers. And once those boundaries are crossed, or there's something you absolutely can't deal with, or it's a no-go, depending on your personal boundaries or maybe your religious preferences, anything like that, it is time to leave. There are plenty of options out there, and plenty of groups that all help you with personal growth, provides that sense of community, and you'll find people who share similar values. So once again, don't be afraid to walk away if there's something that doesn't fit for you. But more generally speaking, let's talk about green and red flags. Well, the first green flag, let's talk about the green ones first. Let's start on a positive note. The first green flag is, of course, you come to a group or community, and you notice that community is full of a diverse number of people. There's men and women and trans folk. There are lots of different races and people of color, and maybe a diverse age range, and there's people of your age there as well. That's a green flag, because that shows that environment is inclusive and provides a safe environment for a wide range of people. Another green flag is, of course, the people in that group or community are honoring your personal boundaries. For example, if you're a vegetarian or have other special dietary preferences, no one in the group says, "Oh, you're vegetarian, you should eat meat," and they try to force you to change some specific idea. Instead, it's a green flag if they say, "Hey, oh, you're vegetarian? Cool, I'll make something special just for you." Or you say, "Hey, that's really cool. This group is doing a ritual, but everyone's going sky-clad, and I'm not really comfortable with that." And they say, "No problem, we'll honor your boundaries. Don't feel like you have to come," or if you want to keep your clothes on for the ritual, that's totally fine too. Green flag. Another green flag is if the people in your community welcome conversation and they make a point of including you in conversation. Whether that's saying, "Hey, so-and-so, what do you think about this?" Or they ask you how you're doing. Or they take a moment and a pause to make sure your voice is heard in any kind of discussion, serious or casual. That's such a green flag, and it feels so amazing when someone takes the time to make sure you're included in the conversation. Another green flag is, of course, this stuff may be obvious, but it's good to keep in the back of your mind. But another green flag is if they give you space and freedom in your personal life. Now that could look like you saying, "Hey, sorry I can't hang out with you all this Saturday, I got a thing to do," and everyone says, "Oh yeah, that's fine, we'll catch up later." Or you're like, "I'd like the freedom to maybe incorporate, this in my personal practice, and no one tries to stop you. It's really important as a green flag to have your personal identity as part of yourself, as well as the space and freedom to be you, and finding your space within that community to be you. And so those are all green flags to keep in the back of your mind. So, of course, in order to avoid really dangerous situations and a lot of other pitfalls, we have to talk about the red flags, the bad things that, in my personal experience, unfortunately, I have come into contact with, and other people have, but these are things to look out for in your community or group or anything like that. So the first big red flag is the group or community you're joining is a cult of personality, meaning the group is centered around some idealized person who calls all the shots. There's no hierarchical structure where you can go above that person or even criticize that person. Cults of personality can be very dangerous, and they provide an environment where one person is making all the say about everything, and that's just not a healthy environment to be in, so it's definitely worth looking into. Another point is disagreement within the group is discouraged. So if you find yourself disagreeing with a point and you're suddenly hushed or forced to conform, red flag, avoid it. If the group is making you cut ties with your family or friends and isolating you for whatever reason, having an us versus them mentality, big red flag. The group is obsessed with money or new members. You could join a really casual community even, and if you see they're constantly recruiting and they care more about bringing in new people and making money, that's a big red flag. And here's another one that oftentimes is more subtle and hard to pick up on, but are the members in the group or community helping you? Or are they sabotaging you? Are they pulling you down? And this is, like I said, can be more subtle and hard to pick up, but one thing I listen to about myself when I'm interacting with certain communities is how I feel coming out of that interaction, or that group, or that circumstance. Do I feel scared, uncomfortable, or do I simply have low energy? Am I dreading seeing those people again because I'm like, oh, they always make me feel so bad about myself? That, my friend, is a red flag. Sounds to me, if you're running into all of these red flags, or just a few that are like, whoa, that is time to reevaluate and perhaps step away from that community or that group and find one that's a better fit for you. Communities can be a beautiful and important part of our life. I hope the conversation today was helpful for you to not only find and locate groups of people or perhaps groups or communities, but also vet them. Of course, as always, I would love to hear from you all below in the comments. Feel free to share any of your thoughts or opinions, and also add to any local resources you may have about finding a group, and share your personal green and red flags too if you'd like to add them to the list. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and last but not least, I am the divine expression for the primal will to good, and so are you.